All right, we are back with surviving as a trader in Mars. As you see, barren wasteland as it is, and so far we've been pretty good. We haven't really finished up the entire farm or greenhouse windows, but we're getting there. But the good news is that we now have the new update and DLC Automaton or automations. So a lot of new stuff to play around with, and I guess for maybe the next few videos, if we have the cash flow, looks like we're doing okay. Half a millionaire at this point. We should try to integrate as much as we can from the DLC and the update automatons. So first thing I had in mind was probably the air vent system. So in order to do the air vent, let's remove this one right here. So let's just depressurize, gather the O2 oxygen from it really quick. That's actually pretty slow. I remember it was pretty instant in certain cases. So I guess much bigger area. But we'll remove this one. And we're going to add the nicer ones. By nicer one, I mean you have a full air vent fan or the half one here. But there's a couple selections here we would play with. So it looks like one of them is the DLC and one of them is just the update version. So this one here is just the half block air vent fan, which is similar to the one we just dismantled, but actually has an animated fan that's on here. So it's pretty cool. So there's the air vent, the full air vent that has, it's just a full version of the one we just dismantled. So of course, let's go for the one that's cool, which is the air vent fan, which is full. And what's great about it is that there's so many ports on each side. So 5 sides, one with the fan. So now we can easily plug it in like this so that we can have a fan blowing this way for the airflow, or we can even go upwards. But if we do it upwards, we can't really see much. But I think actually, you know what? I like the fact that it's upwards. That looks good. Do we have enough materials for this? No. So we got to go ahead and gather that. And as many of you have said as well, yes, the compositor needs to be separate from the grid so it doesn't compost all my food that's piped in here. But for the most part, I just kept it off for now, and I kept all my food outside of the whole like cargo containers and things like that. So it's actually with my custom kitchen and things like that too. And luckily it doesn't, for some reason it doesn't pull from like the herb growers and stuff. Actually it might if I turn it on. I haven't tested that out just yet, but yeah, I moved all the food into the kitchen, so we should be okay for now. Eventually, yes, we're gonna move this over as well. I wish I had a cargo container here, so I could pull and extract stuff from here. Maybe a connector would be great too. I don't know. I think what would have been great is having a large grid connector a little bit more on the skinnier side, because the regular connector, although full block, I do wish it was maybe half the block at some points and get rid of like the capacity in terms of liters and stuff like that. But yeah. All right. So here we have the fan or air vent all welded up, and it still has that right there to show if it's airtight and everything like that. And what's interesting is the fan animation is not going. Why is that? So that's depressurizing. That okay, there we go. Okay, so it needed a bit of a restart for it to go. And there's a bit of a sound to it too, so that's interesting. So we got an air vent, a full block air vent, which is awesome. That's exactly what we needed. It looks great on here. Although it's probably not the same color scheme I have here. So let's get that changed up a bit. Alright, so the compost system right here, we're going to remove. We should put maybe a cargo container right here. What is this on my screen that's freaking out? All right, so we should put a cargo container right here. A small one should be fine. Or maybe a connector. Either one. But I think small cargo would be ideal in this spot right here. And we could put the compositor here or here. I really want to do some kind of sorter so that way if we throw food in here, it'll compost and then go out when we need the organics, instead of having it just pull from the food and everything like that. But we'll see how that's gonna work out. The only problem is a sorter doesn't come in a C-shaped form. So we have to kind of change this up. So this is a sorter. And we don't want stuff to come to the sorter. We want it to only come out. So we only want to drop food into it, make the organics, and then come out. So what we're going to do is change this thing up here. So we make the sorter here. And we can make this into another conveyor junction. So that should work out. So let's get the sorter. We want it to go that way. I think that's the right direction, should be. And this will be conveyor junction. Oh yeah, I forgot about these caps. So here's the conveyor junction. And we can throw the compositor here. So that would look decent. So basically, our sorter will only whitelist organics. If it's even listed here, it should be right there. So we whitelist organics so that it flow through when it has any organics. Should we drain all? No, we don't need drain all. Just leave it as is. All right, so that should do it. So basically, if we were to grab any food, there's some wheat here. Here, let's just use the wheat. Actually, let's use the herbs since I think we have a large number of herbs now. So grab the herbs here, throw it in the compositor, and it's on. That works out. So basically, the compositor can throw the organics from it, but we can't put it back in. Perfect. That's exactly what we needed. All right. So that's one thing to do here, just for a little bit of maintenance, some integration. So the integration obviously was just the air vent. There's nothing too crazy about that. But we got this fixed, so no need to turn it off and blah, blah, blah. So another integration would be nice would be the caps. There are several conveyor caps. You have the circular ones, rectangular ones. These are pretty cool looking, I think. So we could sewer cap this if we want to. We can even sewer cap this one right here. That looks pretty cool. But that's not going to have any breathable piece to it. So we have a cap here, a circular cap. Here's a more rectangular cap. And here's another one as well. But I think this is for small grid. Yep, small grid only. Okay. So these caps are kind of useful and nice looking when you place them here. I think this is the right side up. So we could place one here just for fun. Like that as a cap. But then the problem is we can't access this. I mean, we could just go in here as a control, but I don't think we're going to be able to move anything from here, are we? Yeah, we can. So that works out okay. Whatever it's in here or anything else into appropriate spot by doing that. But it's a nice little cap. I want to leave this one open. To be honest, I could just easily click on here instead of clicking on here. There's a bigger window to do that. And here, what we can do is add like a decorative block here, right? Just to make it look nice. Or we just use a cap here, but that's going to waste the space right there. I think I could just add a decorative block there eventually, but for now, we'll just cap it. So as I mentioned, we're going to integrate as much as we can in terms of the materials that we get from automatons. And of course, drones is the biggest thing. We could definitely make a few drones down the line, especially something to help travel from one place to another. Or maybe I could use a drone to make the cargo ship to return a bunch of acquisitions that I've taken that is more inventory than I can hold on the person itself. Next iteration of this I need to do is somewhat of a proper airlock system, which may require me to redesign this a little bit because we need to pipe in some of the oxygen. I think I'm gonna leave it for now. I actually don't want to be bothered by that right now. I'll do a proper airlock system for this a little bit down the line. I think what I want to do is extend this out more. So it kind of looks like an igloo-ish like thing. So we'll deal with that in a few, or a lot later. We're gonna have to fix the house too. So that's another thing. We need to expand this out just a tiny bit because it is quite small at the moment, and we could definitely use more space. Another quick integration we could do is change out the button right here. So this button was to control our air vent system, which we could change this out too. Let's get this air vent changed. And I really like the fan version. So we can use a small fan for this one if we want. This one right here, but it's going to point this way. I kind of wanted to point this way, so we're going to use the full one, actually. So it'll be like that. Okay. So now we want to get rid of this button because we can now use something else. And that is going to be these control panels. Or panels, as they want to call it. And these panels, you can actually kind of open up and actually press a button. So we can always place this anywhere around here as well. I'm thinking probably against this wall. So this is kind of like the right side up. This is right side up. I'm trying to look for a decent one where the button's really easily accessible. So something like this one. This is nice. But I think it's supposed to be this way. So we can put it anywhere and it looks pretty decent. Like we could put it here and it doesn't look like wasting too much space as well. Instead of putting it right there. So that saves space. So let's put one here. Let's put a decent looking one. This was a full block one. I like this one. Let's put this access panel. So this access panel, now we can open this door and go to the panel itself. Actually, I don't want this one. I want the one with the button, which is the one that has the button. Might be this one. Access panel 3. That one should have the button. Yes, this one. But of course, I put it upside down. So there's a big update with a lot of aesthetic stuff, which is awesome. So here we have the button. So this button is going to be for this air vent, which is number 3. And we'll have it toggle depressurize on and off. And that's it. So that way, right now we're airtight. Press the button. Depressurize. That's exactly what we needed. So easy little, cool little access panel here. The only thing that really sucks about these kind of things is this. Like if I really wanted to put something on the survival kit, I can't now. Because it takes a full block right here. So those are the little things that are kind of annoying, but I get how it works. Another fun thing we do is these access panel 4, which is like a door-like thing. I mean, it would be ridiculous to put it on an air vent like this. It doesn't let you anyways, but you could put it in front of those ports if you don't want them to stick out. And it kind of acts like doors. Like right here, we can do that for a small grid. There's a small grid right here. This is, yeah, let's just give it a shot and see what it looks like. So there's a little door system here. So that looks nice and capped. But we can open up the double door system of French doors. And you got a nice little coverage there. I like it. It's awesome. I think it's cool to have all these little aesthetic stuff. We also have a bunch of like interior walls and stuff like that. So I do want to build my home base with an actual interior wall with these blocks and then actually have an outside wall. So it's like a double layered system just to give it some aesthetics and better look. Because we have these things also, which is a block that actually has a light on it and these other interior walls that has pipes. So here's a nice inset light, which actually has a light on it, which is great. So if this was actually outside as a outside wall, we no longer have that problem with having a little light like that blocking a build, basically. So that's fun to have. That's great to have. And then you have these pipe stuff here. So these are nice little aesthetic stuff for walls. So we can always add these walls here and makes it look decent. Make it look decent. So like for this, we plug some plumbing look with the toilet in the bathroom, in the shower, just for an extra look if we wanted to, but unnecessary. And of course, we have a whole bunch of different warning signs. Of course, the best one, in my opinion, is this one. Safety first. Accidents are avoidable. We have worked 0 days without a clang incident. Has it been 0 days without clang? I think we've been clangless for a while. Let's put that here. And it costs minimum parts. Construction components here, placing more construction components, which is not too bad. But those are some of your aesthetic stuff that looks pretty cool. You have other things like sensors, a new programming block, timers, an emotional controller, which we don't necessarily need. But of course, the ultimate piece of the update and also DLC, it's got to deal with all the drone stuff, which is like the AI controls. I played around with it a little bit, which is not too bad, but you could do a lot with it. And event controller. That is the more important thing. That is nice to have. Because you can tell certain things to activate, like an if-then action. So I have a lot of plans with that. And I want to integrate it with the series more than having a separate videos on it. But if I do something that's kind of complicated, I'll probably do a quick experimental video on it as well, just to show what that's like. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's a bunch of other things like a 2x2 wheel on here that we looked at. We have some new plushies, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, great update, big update, and I'm gonna enjoy messing around with each and every one of those things. But yeah, on to integrating more stuff. So another thing I want to integrate is the solar panel system. So the solar panel is just sitting here doing nothing but collecting sun. But now we can just easily have it follow the sun with the custom turret controller. So why not get that set up? So we can just kind of add it right down here. How wide is this thing? 4, 5. Let's do 5 blocks down. And if you're wondering why I have so much materials like steel plates, it's because off camera I did a lot of trading for materials. So I don't have to bore you with that. I was doing a lot of selling steel plates, doing a math for iron ore, silicon, or actually silicon, I should say. That's I think that's the pronunciation. So sorry if it was a bit cringy if I keep calling it silicon. That more trade secrets here, and I've been doing some calculations with the iron ores versus just getting iron ingots and what makes sense in terms of highs and lows to buy and such. More to come on that and updates. But for now, don't want to bore you with the constant screen of the store and acquisitions and such. So I want to keep building more and more stuff as well. So first things first, with the solar panel, we need a rotor as well. And we're just going to have to build upwards from here. And of course, we can use our fun pillars. These guys here. Let's change the color. Play around with the new plastic color. Or skin. And we don't have to go too high up. I think that's more than enough. And throw in a hinge. Alright, there we go. Okay, so before I waste too much of my hydrogen, let's just build a bit of a scaffolding so I can just chill here for a bit. So the plan is to build upwards. And I'm wondering, can I put solar panels on the cylinders here? Another question is, can I even make solar panels? Because I think I ran out of materials at one point, but I think I bought a bunch of silicon, so we should be okay. But no, I can't place them here. Yeah, because it's on the sides like that. Okay, that makes a bit of sense. So then that way, I would do what I normally do. And that's, of course, build a block like this upwards. So it takes 2. I'm just going to do 4 of them for now. Oop. And since it's only on one side, what I normally do is you could use a panel, or we could do something like this. Just to have a bit of it pointing one way and not the other way. So that meaning we'll throw the panels like this right here. It would have been nice if I put it in a both on the same way, but yeah, that's a thing. Okay, so that's there. Okay, so that's gonna look like that right there. So we got the solar panels set up like that. Yep, that looks decent. Not too bad. And of course, we need to add a camera. So once we add a camera, we can follow the sun. So we can use the new one. Let's just use the new camera. Although, not the most efficient one to use currently, based on this build. But we have a top-mounted camera. So now we can put it right up here. I think ideally we want to put it kind of right here with the regular camera to face the sun. But if we do a top-mounted camera like that, we should be okay as well. So let's just leave it as that. Get everything welded up. And we should be good to go. Alright, so here's the solar panels all done. Bad timing, sun's gone. It's alright. Not a big deal. And we should probably weld up these things just in case they end up getting destroyed and potentially knock the whole thing down and fall apart. So we don't want that to happen. And actually, I'm kind of dumb. Could have gotten rid of this one to save on some material and resources. So yes, in terms of lightning, been doing a little research and reading the comments as well. Decoys do work. For some other reasons, it didn't work for me. I guess it's fairly random in a ways. But the antenna has a very low radius when it comes to getting zapped by lightning. So what we're going to do here basically is we're going to spread out a whole bunch of decoys. If that makes sense. And the decoys don't require batteries and everything like that, so we can always plop a few around. But of course, we want to align it with our current base. So we could do one like here as a platform. Let me use a half. Can I use a half here? So we can add one right here, and I think this is lined up to this. So we should be good if we were ever thinking of connecting it. I mean, could always grind it down anyway, so it makes no difference. Alright, so here's the decoy. Doesn't take a lot of parts, but it should be a 50 meter range when it comes to attracting the lightning. Right, and just in time, another storm is coming. So that's always wonderful. Alright, so here's the decoy. It's on, so it should take care of a lightning strike, if anything. So we put one here. We'll put one on this end of the wall. So we don't want to put too much, but we want to have a decent spread so it could protect us from the lightning. And from what I recall, we don't want the decoy to be on the ground a bit. So we got to stick it up right above it, like so. And we should be good. I'm going to place like maybe 4 or 5 of these around, if anything. And we should be okay. You know what? I could put one right in here or above here. If you want to. Actually, you can put it above. You can put it in here. That's not on the ground, I think, right? It's kind of touching on the ground. So that's, yeah, that's a little unfortunate. I can't put one over there, but it's okay. I'd rather kind of connect it. So we can add one. This one's going to be a little bit on the above the local grid. We can't put it underneath the ground, because if you put it underneath the ground, it's going to be like underneath. Actually, no. Look, if I could get it right there, that would be awesome, but it's not letting me. Yeah, I want to be underneath. I want to be like right that low. And actually, that's not even that low. That's this high up. Okay, so that's not too bad. So we could put one right here. It's kind of by this. I think I'm just going to dismantle this whole thing. There's no point of having this here. All right, so here is another one. And we're good to go. So this, I'm going to dismantle. I don't think I'm going to use this. And if I'm going to do a garage, it's going to be attached to the base a bit. So garage in a house kind of look. Well, obviously not going to make a house, but it kind of already looks like a house. So I'm going to get rid of everything I can down here, if possible, if there's anything in here on the ground. I think we're good. Okay, so we have 4 decoys. Well, 3 so far. So 1 more needs to be... I guess we could put 1 here too. I mean, it's unnecessary. I think the 3 point of contact might just be enough. And if I put more, I'm running into the dangers of crashing into them with my driving, basically. So let's avoid that, actually. Yeah, I think we're just going to do that. Okay, the storm is getting really, really bad. So, let's just get back in for now, charge up, and eat up and everything as well. All right, quick little nap. Storm's still around. Vent fan's working, so that's cool. Yeah. All right, so I kind of want to get rid of this. This is that was a bad idea. Okay, let's add a half window corner. At least that still kind of looks like it's connected, but not really. But is it still airtight? Yes. Okay, so we're okay. That was a little bit on the unfortunate side, but at least we have a window on the side now, and we can do the same on this side as well. But let's just not lose the oxygen. So nice little view from the side now, which is good. So you can see how crazy the storm is. Of course, we had the sunroof, so we didn't really need that. But what else can we integrate here into the home and everything like that? Actually, before we get a little bit ahead of ourselves, completely forgot after doing all those decoys, we're supposed to put a custom turret controller down for our solar panels. So we could use a large one, or we could potentially slap on a small one right here if need be. I think I could just do that. I think I want to just do that, actually. So we just throw one here. I think it works. Not sure, actually. So if it doesn't, we'll find out soon enough. So this is the custom turret controller, and we didn't name any of the rotors and stuff, but we should be able to locate them because we don't have many of them anyway. So we should be okay. Okay. So obviously, custom turret controller here. The azimuth is the left and right rotation, so that's going to be our rotor. And our hinge would probably be hinge 2, because I think this one's counted as hinge 1. Nope, this is hinge 2. Interesting. So it should be hinge 1 for our elevation then. And top mounted camera for the camera itself. And of course, we will do always aim at sun. And that should control the solar panel. As simple as that. We won't be able to know until the weather dies down, but I believe that should be it. And I think I should have put... Oh, no, I couldn't, because there's a light here, which we run into that same problem where we can't do anything about it. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for... Yeah. For most things that we can integrate with right now. Obviously, we could do some Willis ducts if we want to, but we don't have any secret passages right now. We don't need it. It would be nice to have one on the ground too. One of the main things I really wanted to build with these saddle cockpits is kind of like an ATV bike system, or bike. But that's gonna be a little bit later because I don't have enough materials. Or I do have a decent amount, but probably not enough. I'm not gonna worry too much about that. But yeah, I mean, I could go around the base and cap all ports if we want to, but don't think I am gonna do that at all. But let's jump into the farming piece. So I've been looking at farming and trying to produce them. And what's great about... I was doing herbs for the most part. It does use organics. It does use ice. But obviously it doesn't use too much, right? So here's one of them. It uses 2 ice and 33 organics and an herb, or 0.33 of herbs. But one production equals 20 herbs altogether. So now I have 450 herbs. So if I were to grow these and sell them, I could make a decent amount. Although selling them only was about what, 80 to 90 credits. It's still pretty decent. We would make, even at 450, we make 36,000 credits. And that's just production. I don't do anything but make sure to get enough ice and gravel. Yeah, make sure to get ice and gravel. And what I figured out is, in order to get gravel, I can't dig for stone or buy stone because that doesn't happen in here in the economy basis. But the good news is that they do sell data pads. And data pads actually gain 0.33 gravel. So ultimately, we need about 3 data pads to get 1 gravel. So as bad as that sounds, it's not terrible. Because most things that need gravel, it's like 5.33 for the soy. We need same thing, 5.33. So that's obviously a lot of data pads, but the data pads will help us look for other economy bases too. So roughly need about a little over 16 data pads just to make 1 batch of wheat in this sense. Again, it sounds terrible. It probably is terrible. What other choice do we have in terms of gravel? But at least there is that. So anytime there's a data pad or tons of data pads available, I'm going to grab those for sure this time around and dismantle it for the gravel. All right, so I think the storm is done. It's just nighttime. Sun's not going to come up anytime soon. And yeah, that's sensors. Yeah, we need to airlock this base a bit. We're gonna eventually build a base and not build a home or house looking like thing, or we just extend it out a little bit. Yeah, we'll probably just extend it out a little bit to make it look better. But we need an airlock system as well. Same with the farm, but the farm we're not gonna touch for the most part. I did add in the mod that you need to have pressurization in order to farm, go to sleep, and all those stuff, just to make it more interesting. So right now, I can't get in there because it says bed can only be used in pressurized environments, which we can easily pressurize and sleep. Yes, but with the farming and everything like that, just to make it funner or a bit of a struggle, I made it that you need to have an airlock system in order to use them. So right now, if I go in and out, the only problem that I run into, especially with the herb one, once it's depressurized, it turns off automatically, but it doesn't turn back on. So that's the weird part of it. But if I think we use an event controller and or a timer block to constantly turn it on, we should be in good shape. So not a big deal there. Okay, other than that, we have some acquisitions to kind of deliver, which none of these we can deliver ourselves, I think. Well, except for a few of these, which we can buy, and construction components. We're going to have to do that very soon because we need some more funds. We need some data pads for the gravel and everything like that. Right now, back to farming. We're going to go to our herb grower and kind of grow as much wheat herbs as we can so we can sell it. And it's missing items. So we're missing organics and stuff, I think. Let's see, herbs. Wait, no. We have to herb. Oh. We need the herbs. So the kitchen I threw in there. So let's just say 100 herbs. Throw in 100 herbs here. And it should make them, yep. So slowly producing. So as I mentioned, a batch is about 20, which is great. Organics, I think we have enough of. Organics. Oh, no, we don't have much organics. That's interesting. Okay. So if that's the case, we can grab... I made a few apples, as you see here. 34 apples. I think apples will give us... It gives us the food variation of it, but... We could... How much did it take me to make apples? I kind of don't want to waste that. I'd rather eat them, if anything. Okay, so it does take the gravel and everything like that. So if there are things that don't take gravel, then it would make sense to throw that in the compost if we can. So it looks like it's just going to be herbs, basically, that we throw in the compost. Or we recycle our poop. Like so. We're gonna release some compost here or some organics. By just sitting here, as you see, the number slowly growing. But the problem of doing that is the number slowly going down in our food. But we have a decent amount of food. I don't know the calculation if this is even efficient or not. It's probably not efficient at all. But we're gonna get rid of some waste and plug it. Yeah, 0.7. That's not much at all. We're just throw it in there and it's probably gonna pull into the herbs. Actually, we just throw it in there directly. Here, herbs. Good. And that way we can recycle things like the chips and turn that into organics. I don't think it's efficient, but it's free organics based on, you know, I don't think we can compost it and put it in a compositor. So there's that. I actually never checked it, so maybe we should check it. All right, before we check it here, 92% done. And there we go. So 100% done. We get 20 pieces. And that's not bad at all. So that's just one batch. So 20 times, let's just say 80. About 1,600 credits. We really have herbs, so we're not wasting anything there. Organics, I mean, that's kind of free in essence. Except that we have to buy food to use the food. Buy food to eat the food to release the food. But ice is, of course, the problem. But it doesn't take too much ice. I mean, if we raid more abandoned settlements, it's about 300 to 400 ice. But if we get lucky, we get like a K worth. So, not too bad. It's not the best business to make more money. But if we're desperate, we could definitely do that. But honestly, I think just trading with acquisitions and actually trading steel plates, that makes a decent amount. All right, so for now, I think that's it in terms of integrating the update and DLC of automatons into our current base. Lots more to come, obviously. I definitely want to take care of making the base look better with all the nice aesthetic stuff we got. But for the time being, I'm just gonna probably wait for the sun to come up. I want to make sure the solar panels are working correctly. So let's just take a little nap. All right, sun's looking like it's coming a little bit. It's good enough. Let's depressurize really quick. Get out of here and take a look at our solar panels. We built it straight up, obviously, so it looks like it turned slightly. That's working out pretty nicely. And I put the camera, well, camera was facing that way, and it, yeah, so that worked out. It's actually getting some sun right now because it's high enough. And because there's a bit of sun gleaming from the horizon. But that's not too bad. If I block the camera with my butt here, is it gonna do anything? No. Alright, so that's working out. We get some free energy from the sun. So I like that. That is gonna be perfect. Of course, it's gonna work in conjunction with our wind turbines, because the wind turbines also gives us a decent amount of energy as well.